All right, we've just recapped everything that how we feel the NUIC is going to break out. Now we're going to go take a look at what we feel the state rankings are going to look like when they come out next Wednesday. Shane, you want to start us off with what you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of teams here that could be in that number one spot, but I think the number one team returning the most talent would be last year's state runner-up in Stark County. Look at them. They're going to be your number one team. I think feel on Wednesday when the rankings get released. Next, you have Decatur St. Teresa. This is some people will like it, some people won't come playoff time. They haven't won a playoff game in how many years, so they're going to be a 1A team, and I got them at number two with Stark County at number one. That's my title game for 1A. Third, I have Carrollton. It wasn't that long ago they were playing Forreston for the state championship. I think they're your number three team. Also, I just mentioned them, Forreston, your number four team. Right there, you got a couple matchups where, if they played out of these top four, that would be a great state title game. Fifth, I have the Lean Winslow Panthers. The resume speaks for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Six, a little bit of a wild card that we discussed. They got to finish games, they got to start games. They got to put it all together. I'm going with Galena. Seventh, a team that has been in the higher classes lately, but they're going to drop into 1A this year, I think, in Bureau Valley. Eight, I have Athens. Nine, Tuscola. They're there year in, year out. We always hear about Tuscola this, Tuscola that. And ranking number 10th and rounding up my top 10 would be Dakota. I think if they show up and ready to play and their line plays good and they're playing their best ball by the end of the year, this is a team that could really turn some heads.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm I'll I agree with you at number one. I have Stark County as well. They returned the most talent. Uh, they were the state runner-ups last year. Definitely proved themselves in the northern bracket. Their closest game was a 3-point win over Ottawa Marquette in a slop game in the semifinals. Ottawa Marquette definitely changed some heads though last year as far as where they come. But Stark County, the most returners. The only areas they're going to have to fill is their linebacking core. All four of their linebackers graduated, which is tough because on the other side of the ball, three of them were offensive linemen, and the other one was their stud running back. Coming at number two, I agree with you. Decatur St. Teresa. You already stated whether we agree or disagree. It's what the state implemented last year. They're going to be in 1A because they haven't won a playoff game in 4 years. Granted, this year as long as they win that playoff game, we won't see them in 1A for the next few years. And with their multiplier, at least this year, would put them up towards the top of Class 2A, maybe even the bottom of 3A, depending on where everything falls out. But 1A this year, they got that sophomore running back, Jacardia Wright, who's already being placed on the Max Preps 4-star watch list. They have a quarterback returning that threw for almost 2,000 yards as well. That's going to be a tough team down there. Number three, I have the Forreston Cardinals at number three. Um, Granted, they got beat pretty good by Stark County last season in the second round, but Forreston's got a lot coming back. They're not rebuilding; they definitely reloaded, and they're definitely ready for a long playoff run this year. Number four, Lena Winslow. We said in the playoff pairings or in the conference pairings, we feel that Lena Winslow, you could toss a coin and either one's going to come out on top. They're definitely going to be up there in the state rankings starting out the year. I've seen some polls where some people even have them as high as number one. Expect them to be somewhere in that top five for sure. Number five, going back to Ottawa Marquette, that's where I place them. They definitely turned a lot of heads last year, making a playoff run coming out of the Northeastern Athletic Conference, which primarily is a weaker conference.
Weak conference.
But they turn some heads, and they return a lot of players off of that team from last year. So that's a lot of valuable experience coming back.
And you look at their playoff run last year. They go up against Stockton. People think Stockton's going to blow them by. Well, they somehow get. They match up later in the semifinals, and they got beat by a field goal, I believe it was.
Yeah, 10-7.
They're 3 points away from being your runner-up.
Right.
That's crazy.
That is crazy, absolutely. Especially a team like Stark County that was running roughshod over everybody last year until that game in the semifinals. Number 6, I have Athens. Athens last year was a Class 2A semifinalist. They were under a co-op that they let go of this year, so they're running on their own, which will drop them down into 1A with their enrollment. However, in that co-op, similar to what we've seen in Warren River Ridge in the years past, Athens has the majority of the players, and they have a lot of returners off that team that made it to the semifinals in Class 2A before they got beat by Auburn in the semifinals. Number 7, I got the Bureau Valley Storm coming in. Shane mentioned it before. That's a team that primarily is a 2A, sometimes even a 3A school, but their enrollment has definitely plummeted. They're below 300 students this year, which I feel will definitely get them into the 1A mark. As I project the cutoff to be over 305. Last year it came in at 312. I could even see it going higher this year myself.
Which will let even more better teams in than the ones we've listed.
Yeah, absolutely. You could see a team like possibly Peru St. Bede fall into 1A because they're a parochial school that hasn't won a playoff game since 2011. So as long as that mark goes up to that 320 roll, Peru St. Bede will be in 1A. Number 8, I got Carrollton. You mentioned them before. 2 years ago they were a state runner-up. They only lost to Forston by 5 points. They come out of the WIVC down there, which is a very good conference with Brown County, Mendon, Unity, Camp Point Central. Carrollton's got a lot of returners back. Most notably, they run a spread offense down there, and which is also a primarily running type conference. They run a spread, so they definitely know how to throw the ball. They can run out of it, and they're very efficient at it. Number 9, I got Dakota. I feel that Dakota is going to make some noise this year. They got a lot to prove. They're going to have a very solid defense once again. New offense coming back. I think it's going to open up some game plan material that will make them more two-dimensional this year, which will definitely help them out from their past 2 seasons. And to top it off at number 10, I have Stockton. I feel with Stockton going 9-0, there is no way that an NUIC team going 9-0 does not get put in the state rankings. They may not start off there, but I guarantee you they will be there by the end of the season.
And most people are going to have them even higher than 10, The NUIC speaks for itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we already listed how many teams off that are ranked out of the NUIC, so we expect a lot of good things coming out of the NUIC this year. To top it off, we'll go with our panel vote rankings as well. We'll just do a quick rundown here. This was our panel consolidation votes. At number 1, it was Stark County, just like our votes. Number 2 was Decatur St. Teresa. Number 3 was Forston. Number 4 was Lena Winslow. Carrollton came in at number 5. Athens at number 6. We had Ottawa Marquette at number 7. Bureau Valley came in at number 8. Galena came in at number 9. And one team that neither one of us mentioned was Polo. Polo is definitely could be that team again that goes undefeated or 8-1, possibly being state ranked at some point this year. They fall into our number 10 spot.
And a solid 10 teams there. I mean, we don't know where they're going to go, but we get a basis on who they're going to be. I mean, that's a solid 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Alright, so there you have it. There's our NUIC predictions for the year. There's the breakdowns of our teams along with the state rankings. We'll get to a question and answer segment for you that was brought to you by our Facebook page. We did generate some questions that we'll have answered, and we'll do that on our next video segment. We hope you enjoyed the show. When it gets posted, please feel free to comment as you feel.
Thank you.